You are an honored guest of the Boeing Company at the Boeing Developmental Center, one of the major facilities of the Boeing complex in Seattle. This is an area where the future moves from dream to drawing board to hardware. Come inside with us and see where imagination and reality have come to terms with each other in exciting and dramatic fashion. Good afternoon, gentlemen. The Boeing Company takes great pride in presenting to you its entry in the competition to build the United States Supersonic Transport, the Boeing 2707. As long as a football field, the slim lines and graceful contours of the 2707 belie its great size. Yet comparing it with the people on the floor beside it, you can readily believe it reaches 306 feet from the tip of the sharply pointed nose to the tail, that the area of the wing is 9,000 square feet, that it stands 48 feet tall to the top of the vertical stabilizer, and that it can carry up to 350 passengers at 1,800 miles an hour. The hardware that will go into the Boeing SST represents not only the expressed request of the airlines, but advanced and sophisticated techniques, processes, and procedures, all under the constant scrutiny of a quality control organization acting as a separate management function. The titanium test panel suspended here in front of us is the largest forging ever produced in this country. This bearing lug, like all the SST hardware in this display, is full-sized and ready for production. The processes represented are thoroughly tested and proved. The 2707 prototype, as well as production airplanes, will be built by a Boeing subcontractor team, using the talents and the manpower of many of the most respected names in the aircraft industry from all parts of the country. This is an area in which Boeing has had long experience and outstanding success. Final assembly will take place here in this developmental center. This scale model shows the planned arrangement of testing equipment, shops, assembly lines, and offices in the developmental center. This is a full-scale model of the General Electric engine with its 40-foot engine pod. And this is the Pratt & Whitney engine. One or the other will power the Boeing 2707. Both incorporate significant advances in power plant development. There are two cargo and baggage compartments in the airplane, accommodating either bulk or containerized loads. The container system, allotting 5 cubic feet per passenger, leaves substantial additional capacity for revenue-producing cargo. Come with us now to this full-sized operating model of the supersonic flight deck. In its faired position, the nose of the 2707 offers minimum drag for supersonic flight. As it moves into its subsonic or lowered position, it provides additional visibility for takeoff and landing. Note that the double articulation, besides other advantages, provides excellent runway clearance and safety in ground maneuvering. With the nose fully drooped, the 2707 affords pilot vision superior to that of today's jets. The airplane can be flown subsonically with the nose in any position. Gentlemen, we welcome your more thorough inspection of any of these mock-ups, and we'll be happy to answer any questions. Right now, however, we invite you to take a short walk with us to an area designed to present further details of the 2707 story. And welcome to the technical briefing area, where we offer you the story of the Boeing 2707 graphically and in as much detail as you wish. Logically, the first bay unfolds the basic rationale for the variable sweep wing of the Boeing Supersonic Transport, making it in effect 3 airplanes in one. With the wings swept back the full 72 degrees, we will cruise safely at 1,800 miles per hour. With the wing at 42 degrees, we will cruise efficiently at subsonic speeds. These panels illustrate some aspects of the structural testing program we have conducted for the 2707, simulating flight conditions and environment on different types of structures. The load on the wing pivot bearing of the Boeing SST is carried by dual paths, either of which is fully capable of handling the entire load alone. As you go through the power plant area, you are told of Boeing's 10 years of development of an engine inlet for the Supersonic Transport, and of Boeing's extensive noise research program. Fire detection systems in the 2707 are explained, diagrammed, and demonstrated. The thrust reverser interlock is demonstrated as a positive mechanical safety device. And the fuel tank placement is diagrammed and explained. Boeing specialists act as hosts for this technical briefing. Here you are in the design support area, which describes the free-flowing exchange of information between Boeing and the airlines. This accessory drive system display depicts an example of this design support. Its development made use of the analysis of a great amount of information fed back to Boeing by the airlines. The redundancy of the three separate flight control systems for the SST is diagrammed on this lighted panel. The supersonic airplane requires all powered flight control surfaces. This unit demonstrates how mechanical signals received by the master servos are transmitted mechanically to actuators located at the control surfaces. In the electrical and electronics display, you are told that the SST will use a greatly improved electrical generation system. A solid-state frequency converter has replaced complicated hydromechanical drive systems. Service accessibility and convenience will be greatly improved with single units or whole banks of components easily removed for service and replacement. The greater simplicity of the access to the rear of the racks is equally impressive. A view over the model airport reminds us that while this presentation reveals the story of the airplane of the future, it is a future not far distant in which the 2707 will share facilities at present-day airports with the rest of the Boeing family of jets. You move past the half-scale model of the radome and other displays depicting equipment which will be used to detect clear air turbulence. This visitor relinquishes the comfort and relaxation of the passenger accommodation display to inspect the model of the flight deck. The model, with its articulating nose, graphically illustrates the excellent takeoff and landing visibility available with the nose in its lowered position. As one aspect of Boeing's highly developed product support program, the 2707 story is told in films. Included are such titles as the SST configuration story, Design for Reliability, Wings on Tomorrow, Facilities for the SST program, Quality Assurance for the 2707, and many more. The film library is but one aspect of Boeing's highly developed product support program. "15 United States airports were thoroughly investigated by Boeing engineers to determine the compatibility of the 2707 with current jet airports. It is highly compatible with all of them. This applies to runway lengths, turning aprons, holding aprons, intersections, pavement strength, and passenger loading equipment. Revolutionary in its ability to perform for the airlines and the air traveler of tomorrow, like a congenial relative, the Boeing 2707 will fit smoothly and gracefully into the famed Boeing family of jets, in the air as well as in the airports of the world. Comparisons and descriptions are simply inadequate. Only a visit to Boeing and this giant mock-up in person can truly convey the sheer size of the 2707 and the immense amount of effort that has been devoted not only to the mock-up, but to the entire 2707 program. The tremendous work capacity of the Boeing SST will make it more than a sound investment. It will be an essential ingredient in the expansion of the world's air transportation system. In this respect, it will be the airline's airplane. Yet it will be the passenger's airplane too, as you will see for yourself in the completely equipped cabin interior of this giant full-sized mock-up. And now, gentlemen, welcome aboard the Boeing 2707 and make yourselves comfortable in the first-class seating area. All of the seats in the airplane have been made larger and the aisles wider as an accommodation to evolution, since we know that our passengers in the 80s and 90s will be taller and wider than we, their parents and grandparents of the 60s. Integrated shapes and forms of interior architecture, windows, and lighting are imaginative and aesthetically pleasing. Noise levels will be lower than those of today's best jets. In-flight color television will inform passengers on flight crew activity, changes of wing position, and cockpit views of takeoff and landing. You are now seated in the SST concept seat, the first step in a long development to provide passenger comfort in the SST time period. It has an adjustable headrest and adjustable lower backrest. In designing passenger accommodations, we are in constant communication with the airlines. Much of their help, their requests, and their suggestions are reflected in what you see here in this full-scale mock-up of the SST passenger cabin. Throughout the development of the Boeing 2707, the experience, the forecasts, and the requests of the airline's SST committees have been carefully considered. Over 95% of them have been incorporated into the SST design. Now, gentlemen, please observe the key design feature of the Boeing 2707, the variable sweep wing. The wing is now swept back 72 degrees to its Mach 2.7 supersonic cruise position. Note that the horizontal stabilizer and the movable portion of the wing form a single integrated airfoil. At this sweep angle, the wingspan is 105 feet, 5 inches. The wing is now being swept forward. The rate of travel of the mock-up wing is comparable to that of the production airplane in flight. The wing is now approaching its mid-position of 42 degrees sweep. At this angle, the 2707 offers efficient cruising at high subsonic Mach numbers, along with handling characteristics comparable to those of today's jetliners. The wing is now approaching the takeoff and landing sweep angle of 30 degrees. In this fully forward position, the wingspan is 174 feet, 3 inches. Double slotted trailing edge flaps, inboard flaps, and leading edge slats provide excellent, safe, low-speed performance and handling characteristics. This, then, is the Boeing 2707. The Boeing team stands ready to build America's supersonic transport. And when they do, the 2707 will shrink oceans and will bring closer the lands and the peoples of the 1970s and 80s and 90s. Gentlemen, it's been a pleasure to have you as our guests.
What a beautiful airplane. The interior mock-ups are really nice. You've done a good job on the presentation.